What happened in Pennsylvania? Debbie.
Oh my God.
Debbie, what'd you do, Debbie?
Debbie just came in with other plans. She said, not this year, folks. Not this year. Dude, I will tell you, that was nuts. Like, that was absolutely, like, we were driving out there Friday, Chaz was already there, and he's like, hey, it is raining, it's raining like nuts. Or he said it had rained, because he's there Thursday, right? And we're like, oh, yeah. You're like, whatever, dude, We got there Friday, and, like, the one road, so, like, the last even semi-main road that you're on before you make this right back up into the campgrounds or anything where the race is, the last kind of main road you're on, it is, like, to your left is the creek, and to your right is just like sheer rock. Like it's just cutting to the edge of this mountain. And it had rained enough Thursday that on Friday when we were going down there, part of the road was still like kind of sort of flooded over, and there was still water like running down the mountain. I mean, there was like waterfalls, multiple spots down through there. And I'm like, well, driving in through Kentucky, Tennessee, like you know how you'll see waterfalls.
Yeah.
And so we're like, hey, listen, like, was it like this when you came in on Thursday? He's like, dude, it was not like that. So like there was enough water way up on top of this mountain. It stayed like that, and we stayed until Sunday. It stayed running off the mountain until Sunday when we left.
Oh man.
Pine Creek is the name of the little creek that everything is kind of like situated around, it sounds like. I know like the starting line's around that or on that. The finish line is either on or around that. And I believe Pine Creek is the creek that you cross, right?
Yeah.
Generally speaking, I think Chaz had said that they got something where it's usually like 2 feet deep, 2 feet and change deep. Dude, I don't know how deep that video that I post on Instagram.
I saw it.
that is what is normally a 2 foot deep creek.
Oh my God. That was that was raging. And that was like if you were standing in that water, you couldn't touch the bottom. No way.
Oh, dude. And like it was, and it stayed like that the entire time we were there. And then so it stayed like that. And then Sunday-ish. Well, I guess Sunday when we were leaving at like 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock in the morning, it had finally come down just a smidge, just enough that the big section of the creek, you could look down and kind of see it. And dude, I mean, there were like whole ass trees.
Oh man.
That were under the water that you're like, holy shit. Like all of a sudden it went down enough that you realize like there were trail signs that were just gone underneath the water that you could then see. Then you realize like, oh wait, that is a sign that is like 20 feet off from the creek where the creek usually is. I mean, it was impressive how much water that place took on. So
what we're talking about, everyone, and some of you may know because we were talking about it last episode, was that Eastern States 100 was supposed to take place over the weekend. Our friend Chaz was running it. Johnny and some of our other friends were going down to crew him in Pennsylvania. This is like northern Pennsylvania, central. And out of all the days, all the weekends in the year, the remnants of Hurricane Debbie or Tropical Storm Debbie or whatever it was slowly made its way up the East Coast and literally went right in the path of the race and dropped, I don't know, at least 5 inches of rain on the area of the race. And there rivers that they were supposed to cross on foot that were, impassable. They did reroutes the day before the race, where they were going to take them further down the river where they could cross on a bridge. They cut out an aid station that crew would normally be able to access. They weren't going to do that aid station anymore. They made all these altering plans so they could still keep the race, right? And I think there's like 400 runners or something at this
400 runners. Yeah, it's a 400 runner race.
So everybody was there, and they didn't, as of Friday night, the night before the race, it was still going to happen. Well, I woke up early, Pacific time to go for my run, and I already had a text from Johnny saying Eastern States is canceled.
Dude, what's wild is, so here it is, 4:30 in the morning, right? We load up in a truck. We drive from the camper we're in, a few hundred feet down to the start line, get out, and we're literally walking down this like crappy little dirt road. And this guy, this aid station captain, he must have been the tallest British dude I've ever seen in my life. I'm a light 6 foot. Like, I just barely hit 6 foot. And I shit you not, this dude must have been 4 to 6 inches taller than me. I mean, he had to have been every bit of 6'3", 6'5", if not more. You know what I mean? Yeah. Anyways, he was like, it was literally like the meme, the GIF or whatever that Chaz shared out. Sorry folks, park's closed.
Park's closed.
I shit you not, this dude basically hit us with, sorry folks, race is canceled. And we're like, and like, it's 4 a.m, right? And so you're like, okay, ha ha ha. And he's like, nope, seriously, that's what all these cars are coming back at you for. And I'm like, fuck, there is a lot of cars coming back at us. and still 4:30 in the morning, I'm racing in my head, like, maybe they dropped their runner off and they're leaving. But then like you get to look around like, oh wait, no, there are a bunch of runners just like kind of like just standing there in awe of like I just sacrificed 6 months of my life to train for this fucking race.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so it was a weird thing. 4 o'clock. And of course then you're like, hold up. Like, what happened? It's not raining anymore. Like, what happened overnight? We just had packet pickup at 6 o'clock. You know what I mean? What happened in a span of less than 12 hours? You're not sharing that one thing on the screen yet if you want to pop it up.
Oh, yeah.
No, we're like, what happened in a span of 6 hours that he canceled this? Well, then it finally does come out. Like, I think someone finally went up and talked, and I guess, or maybe we were talking to an aid worker or something, and it finally came out that it was like they changed classifications of disaster zone, right? It went from a disaster emergency to a disaster, a certified or something. You know what I mean? It went up one notch.
Yeah, it says Josh Shapiro, who's been in the news for other reasons lately. He signed a proclamation of disaster emergency for 21 counties.
Yeah, and so that's
one of the results was that the decision was the cancellation of the race.
Yeah.
And it says it's with the utmost concern for the safety of our participants, their crews, pacers, our dedicated volunteers. We regret to announce that this year's event must be canceled, race director Benjamin Mazer said. While we know the disappointment may bring, we encourage those planning to attend to consider volunteering their time to support the many families affected by this emergency.
Yeah.
Roughly 460 runners and race volunteers. I wonder what the course looked like, even with their reroutes and stuff. I bet it was destroyed. I bet there was trees down. I bet it probably would have been dangerous, and more than likely it was probably the right call. And even though it really sucks, man, like, there's races out here out west that get canceled for wildfire smoke and different reasons, and it's just one of those things where it's just like it just sucks so bad, but it's probably a good idea.
Yeah. I think what really made it rough was it was just the morning of. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's the craziest part.
Like when they get canceled out west, right? It ain't like the wildfire just happened. You know what I mean? And so, the good thing, there was a video. Chaz might have it. We might have to see if Chaz can send it to us. Or have to track it down. Actually, no. I feel like it's posted to I feel like it's posted to Eastern State's Facebook page. I think it's where I saw it actually. But there was a picture of one of the trails, and it was a trail. You know how out east, right? A lot of times going up the mountain isn't necessarily a trail. It's more of like a dried out creek bed. You know what I mean?
Yeah, totally.
Race directors love to use those. It was that. And Jamie, all you could see was it was just a stream of water coming back down at you. And you couldn't even see, you could barely see the pink flag way on the side.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I think it was probably, grand scheme of things, probably the right thing to do. They took the food, they donated it to a little city that was south of even where we were, that I guess was basically underwater. I guess a few cities around us, around where we were, did get completely flooded out. So it sounds like the food and all the aid that was going to be there went to good purpose. So it got donated to people who needed it. So yeah, that was right. I will tell you, one of the more frustrating things I did see, and as I'm watching this, I was like, I can't decide what side of the fence I'm on. There were more than a couple, I believe, runners are like, I'm saying just run this on my own, unaided.
Oh, yeah.
So there were a couple runners, I believe, that went ahead and went out there and Jesus Christ, why am I drawing a blank on this?
Fat ass.
Yeah, I kept wanting to say Fatdog. I'm like, what the fuck is Fatdog? But yeah, there was a couple of runners that just went out and fat-assed it, and I'm like, man,
that's not smart. That's you know what? That's putting the future of the race in jeopardy if you think about it.
Yeah, it puts the future of the race in jeopardy. But the other thing it really does, and Chaz and Ronnie being paramedics and firefighters, the other thing they talked about is hey, listen, your first responders are already stretched thin. They're already doing, shit because of the communities, in a state of emergency. Mm-hmm. Now your dumbass is going to go out into very, very, very rural north central PA, fuck around and break a leg, and now they're going to have to figure out how to get out there and get you. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, exactly. You're going to take away from those resources. So this was on their Facebook page. This is considered Tomb Flats or something.
Which is supposed to be an aid station that got taken away. That is an aid station you're looking at, folks. That's not a normal lake. That is an aid station.
That lake doesn't normally exist.
That lake is not a lake. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
oh wow.
That's a creek. That is supposed to be a creek.
Holy shit. It's going right through that building.
Yeah, that's a creek that's supposed to be 2 feet wide or 2 feet.
Oh, that's the finish line.
Yeah.
Under 18 feet of water.
Yeah. Dude,
go ahead and fat ass that. Just
and there were dumbasses that went out and fat assed that.
Oh my God.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I've fat assed some races that probably shouldn't have I've fat assed some stuff that probably shouldn't have fat assed. Yeah. But that was really, really fucking dumb.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Look at bottom of Panther Run, the finish at Little Pine State Park. Wow.
I really kind of want to see if we come across. Man, it looks like we might be coming to the end of the pictures. There is a.
Oh, there's a sinkhole.
Yeah, I don't even know where that was. We didn't come across that. That was the other thing that was wild is while we were there, a fucking look at that.
Oh my God.
I think the one that is in the bottom left, I think the bottom left one.
Oh yeah, there's the flags.
That's
that creek bed that you go up.
That is a dried out creek bed you're supposed to be going up.
Yeah.
I mean, there it is. Look at that.
Oops.
Dude.
Yeah, that's dangerous.
That is.
You will die if you get into that.
Yeah. It's like, it's just one of those things where like.
Wow.
Yeah.
And it's a bunch of trees and shit.
Yeah.
Wow.
I will say that
would have been a disaster.
Yeah. Yeah. That is like that court, like just walking around the campground where we were at, right? Not even on trail. Not trail at all. Just walking the roads in the campground we were in. I was like, man, fuck these little hills. These things are steep.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, Jamie, dude.
Some punchy climbs.
Oh, those are, I mean, you're not on anything super high. You're not on anything super long. But when you're on it, you're on it. Like, it's going to let you know. Look at that.
Wow. That's just, yeah. I can see why they canceled it. This is just the campground, right? This is like.
Yeah. A lot of that is just the campground area.
Finish. Oh my God.
And what's wild is it never got a lot lower than that. Like all day.
Yeah, that's crazy, man.
It stayed like that pretty much all day Saturday. And then Sunday when we left, like I said, you could just start seeing trees that had been underwater the entire time. You're like, oh shit. That's not like a little sapling. That's not like a little 10-foot sapling out there. No, that's like a 20, 30-foot tall tree that is just gone, that you could barely see the top of.
Wow.
So, yeah.
And another fun fact, this isn't the first time that Eastern States got canceled.
Yeah.
Of course, they got canceled in 2020. I mean, everything got canceled in 2020 because of COVID. But they also canceled, which I just found out last night, in 2018. And I actually had to go back and watch the Mountain Outpost little Jam's news video about why it got canceled. And it was due to permit violations. Their communications director had resigned. And in order to get the proper permits, you have to be certified, and you have to have a backup plan and all this other stuff. And they didn't have anybody else that was certified. So they had to cancel the 2018 race as well. So.
Well, so what happened, because we actually found out about this too while we were there, is they switched RDs. I guess there's like a little bit of like piss match, you know what I mean? There's like a little bit of like, and it sounded like maybe one RD resigned and the other one tried to step in at the last minute. But like the ham radio operators, like those folks were the ones that were beefing, and the new RD couldn't get them back, in sync or something along those lines. It had something to do with a switch of. It had 100% to do with like one RD stepping down, another RD stepping in, and the ham radio operators not getting along. Because, dude, I am telling you, that place is rural. And I mean, like, it's a weird thing to be it's a weird thing to be kind of sort of relatively close to civilization in a one way, but then in a blink of an eye, man, you are way back in the cut. And like our cell phones didn't work. They straight told you, hey, when you get back to the campground, if you have AT&T, you might get reception. If you have anything else, you better hope you have Wi-Fi set up somehow, some way.
Wow.
But like they have to have, by permit, they have to have the ham radio operators. Otherwise, they're not allowed to put it on. And in 2018, that's what got them. Was the ham operators were beefing with the RDs. It sounds like
that makes sense. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And the bitch of it was that the weather on Saturday was absolutely perfect for running, like mid 70s, no humidity.
Dude, we walked around a little city called Lock Haven Saturday, kind of like bar hopping and brewery hopping and just like checking out that little city all day. And like
all day.
Just like literally all day.
I know. I saw Chaz in that photo at like 4:30 in the morning with the beer in his hand.
it didn't let up. It did not let up until like 11 o'clock at night. But I mean, what's crazy is how unbelievable the weather was. Like how like no, like, you said it perfect.
Yeah,
perfect. And like, of course, we're all sitting around like, hey, dude. Imagine the time you'd be banging out right now with this perfect running weather. You know, like just imagine. The thing that's kind of cool about that race is it's like 90. It's like something like 90 to 99% canopy cover too.
Yeah.
Like you're covered.
You're
and we're like,
woods.
dude, just
there's no airflow.
Not you don't even have the sun beating on your back. It's like 70 degrees. Man, you'd be like, you fuck 30 hours. You're killing this thing in like 28 hours. And he was just, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. Like,
I feel so bad for him and everybody else. But you know, it's just one of those freak things that you can't predict. But like the timing was just
insane.
Unreal. All right. Well, I guess we should move on.
Talk about races that did happen.
Yeah. So last week we were talking about the Badger trail races, and we found out it's a rail trail. It's flat. It's smooth. We were kind of perplexed as to why the finishing times were the winning finishing time was over 20 hours. And, you know, the podium times were like 20 to 22 hours or 20 to 23 hours. And somebody had commented on our video, which, by the way, thank you to everyone that commented, that it was like 90 plus degrees out and like super humid. I guess it was pretty unbearable. So that would definitely explain some things. And then also 10 Junk Miles commented on the video because we were also questioning why the cutoff is so long. What was it, like 36 hours or something?
36 or 37, yes.
Maybe. And they had said they really just want to give, you know, older people and they want to give everybody a chance to finish this thing, which I think is just so awesome. Like, that's a very community oriented event. You know, I'm totally on board with that. Like, you know, if someone can move 100 miles, then they deserve to be honored as a finisher. So,
I mean, there's enough races out there that, you know, there's enough high lonesomes. There's enough our ways, right? There's enough of the one we're getting ready to talk about here in a second that's out there. It's literally trying to snatch your soul. There's nothing wrong with the race that's like, you know what? First timers, old timers, go get it in. Go get it. You know what I mean? Like there's enough out there for all people to be happy.
Yep. And so exactly what they said was the course is extremely flat and smooth. The 36-hour cutoff exists for older first-timers, first-timers, and slower people to have a shot at finishing 100. The course record for men is 14 hours and 5 minutes, and women is 16 hours and 50 minutes, which to me, that's way more in line with that type of race than the times this year.
14 hours.
But yeah, hot, sticky, uncomfortable this year, 47% drop rate, all the things that come along with some miserable ass weather. So yeah, we just wanted to provide some clarification there.
And that's a dangerous combination. Like when you have first time runners, right? Like that race is designed to be a welcoming first time runners kind of thing.
Oh yeah.
Right? Bro, you throw your first giddy up into this mix, and all of a sudden you're like, oh, hey, by the way, hold this high 90s and 100% humidity.
Welcome to ultra running.
Yeah, there's a lot of noobs that are like, whoa, what we're doing? What now? Like,
yeah.
Wait a second. So,
yeah, for sure. All right. Well, I think we're going to move into some race results now. And first, I want to talk about Sierre-Zinal. And Sierre-Zinal is not an ultra distance, but it is a trail race. And it's a very difficult trail race. And you are in Switzerland, and you can see views of the Matterhorn and some other iconic peaks like that, mountains, Weisshorn, and some other ones that I'm going to mess up if I try to pronounce. But but anyways, so this is a 31K, which is 19 miles, and there's 7,200 feet of climbing in that 19 miles. So it is a serious mountain trail race, and it's one of the most competitive trail races in the world. And I mean, you get people from all over the world, and Kilian Jornet, arguably the greatest mountain runner in the history of mountain runners. He has won before this year's race. He had won it 9 times and had the course record in 2019. So he came back this year and he raced in it. But before we start talking about what happened in the men's race, I do just want to give a shout out to Joylyn Chepnago. I probably have messed that up, and I do apologize. She's from Kenya, and this was her first ever trail race. After giving birth to her 2 children, she lost 30 kilograms and decided to run again. And this was her debut in the world of trail running. And not only did she win one of the most competitive trail races in the world, but she won by a huge margin. I guess she jumped out to the early lead and just kept extending her lead throughout. So basically she just dominated the women's race. And so that is pretty cool. She won in 2 hours and 54 minutes. Second place was Scout Adkin in 3 hours and 2 minutes. And I don't know what her overall 254. Yeah, I don't know what her overall. As far as the U.S. In the top 10, the U.S. had 2 runners, Anna Gibson at 3:08 and Sophia Lockley at 3:09. They were 6th and 7th place. And let's move on to the men's race, because this was something that was just crazy.
It was something.
Yeah. And so Kilian is the front runner in this race. Well, there was some dude from Kenya, Josephat Kiprotich, and Kilian was leading early, 7.5K in. Joseph Kiprotich from Kenya closed the gap, And by the way, this guy, Joseph Kiprotich, is a 2 hour and 6 minute marathoner. So he's got some speed,
Yeah.
Now, road speed doesn't always translate well into trail speed, but in this case, it does. And he was right on Killian's heels. And about halfway, he took the lead, and then they battled back and forth. They passed through 16K at 125, and they were together. Oh, wait, no, that was third and fourth place. Well, let's see. Kiprotich had took the lead. I think after the 7 or 8K mark. But yeah, it was a cat and mouse game. They were within 15 seconds of the course pace at the 12K mark. And then after the 20K mark, where most of the climbing was completed, the race became unpredictable. Killian caught up with Kiprotich. They passed the 20K checkpoint in 1 hour and 43 minutes. But this is where Killian made his attack. Killian's one of the best downhill runners in the world, bar none.
Yeah.
Right. He created a 30-second lead, rode along the trails. And then basically it really just came down to the end. Like, they were in the last downhills, passing each other. It was one of the most competitive endings to any trail race that I've seen. And Killian ended up winning by 2 seconds.
Speaking of Killian winning by 2 seconds, here they show you here in a second.
Yeah.
There's a video that you watch that you're like, there is a video on Instagram, and it is the 1-2 finish, right? You've watched the video, correct?
I've seen all the videos from Instagram. Yeah, and we're gonna pull them up here.
All right. Let's pull the one up. I'm gonna hold off on my observation. I just want to see if anyone else has the same observation, or maybe maybe this is just some weird old man energy coming at me.
So, yeah. So here's now. I have to find where this browser is on my computer. Oh, here it is. Sorry, folks. Okay. So I'm not sure which one you're looking at.
Yeah, this is the Instagram one. This is the Twitter one.
Oh,
This one is absolutely, like, I could watch this all day. This is just mesmerizing how fast they are tearing.
This is Killian following right behind him, and they're just flying downhill.
What's amazing for me on watching people go this fast downhill, I used to be pretty good downhill, but what really blows my mind is the reaction time on this kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. Right? Like how fast they can replant their feet or like swivel the hips. But they're like, when you watch this one long enough, there does come a point where Killian just takes a better line, and that's what wins it. This is the Instagram one. Go back and watch this Instagram one.
Did you see? There's Joylene coming in.
Yeah.
Did you see that thing running right behind Killian? I'm like, did that thing block the other guy?
There it is. That's my take. That's it. Yes. That weird ass ram thing is
like a costume, an animal costume.
It is. Like if I am the Kenyan, I'm like, what the fuck? Like, yeah, I could I have caught him? I don't know. There's some fucking goober in a fucking costume cock blocking me. Like, what are we? Like, I saw. Yeah. I was like, what the F?
This video right here is is great. It starts off, they're talking about how it's the most competitive field.
Yeah. It's so funny watching those dudes run up that mountain. Like, that is like the amount of power in those quads and glutes.
How can I turn this volume down? Is that down?
Oh, we can't hear the volume.
Oh, you can't?
Oh.
Okay.
Yeah, dude, they are getting it.
Here they are at like the 20K mark. Well, I don't know. This video is showing a bunch of people, so right here is that footage of them.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Yeah.
Like
that's
okay, here's him coming in, and here's that mascot thing right behind him, dude.
Jumping, and I mean, it's like it's a 2-second difference.
Oh, I can't hear you. Oh, I know why. Never mind.
It's a 2-second difference. It's crazy. It's just like,
yeah.
I don't know, man. Could you caught him? Probably not. But like, also, hey, thanks for ruining my fucking finish line photo, you goober, jumping up and down. I don't know, man. Look, it's insane. It's insane. Yeah. Killian knows he's there because Killian's peeking over his shoulder.
Oh, he is. He is. Yeah.
Man, I don't know. Maybe this is just the racing purist in me coming out, but that drives me.
Maybe it was a bad angle.
Maybe it's Maybelline, but I don't like it.
But there's some videos here of Killian running uphill. It's just incredible, man. Look how steep that is. I mean, God, how can he do that? It's just awesome. So, but anyways, Killian went on to win his 10th, setting a new course record, by the way, beating his 2019 course record. So he's just getting better with age, man.
Yeah, because he's getting up there in age too, right?
I think he's probably in his early 30s, I'm guessing.
I was trying to think if he's like mid 30s or what. Like, I wasn't.
Yeah, maybe mid 30s. He's got like 2 kids now. He was born in 87, age 36. Yeah, good call.
36.
Yeah. But yeah, what a display. And I encourage those of you listening on the podcast to go to Instagram and just look up Sierre-Zinal.
Yeah.
And watch some of these videos. I mean, this is just some really cool stuff. All right. So let's move on. Let's go to Fatdog, which is a race that I know a little bit about.
That's a big boy race, isn't it, Jamie?
Yeah. So Fatdog, there's the finish line. I'm very familiar with that. Fatdog is
that about the time of day that you finished too?
Yeah, but it was like the next day.
You're like, oddly enough, yes. Just 24 hours later.
That's right. That's
awesome.
That's exactly what it looked like 24 hours into the future.
Oh, man, that's amazing.
But no, it's advertised as 120, but throughout the multiple course corrections because of wildfires and various other things, it's probably closer to 126 to 128 miles now. It's a 48-hour cutoff. There's around 27,000 feet of climbing. There's a huge stretch in the middle of the race, miles 40 to 80, where it's only backcountry aid stations that are very, very slim pickings. It's a tough race, but man, it's beautiful, beautiful scenery. Yeah. The intro to our show here is taken in a meadow overlooking the mountains from that race. But anyway, I finished with five minutes to spare, a little over 5 minutes to spare when I did it.
Finished, got that buckle.
I got it. And Paul Reese raced to a commanding victory in the 120 mile, 25 hours and 13 minutes.
Golly days.
Yeah. And Todd Marwick was second, 20 hours and 20 minutes. And then for the women, Jessica Temple won 34 hours and 10 minutes. And Tara Basili was second, 35 hours and 21 minutes. There are a couple other races there. There's a 40-mile distance. Marcel van der Moy was first, female, 7 hours and 18 minutes. Brendan Scott took the men's win in 6 hours and 56 minutes. And there's a 50-mile race, 9 hours and 51 minutes for Charles Perot-Minot, and 10 hours and 13 minutes for Sarah James. They were the top male and female. Then the 100K, Madeline Hawkins set a new female course record, 13 hours, 22 minutes. And Tyler Darcy was second fastest men's course time in 11 hours and 41 minutes. So Fatdog, a race that it's near and dear to my heart, but I don't want to think about it too much because it's pretty painful.
Never again.
No, I mean, that's a one and done. Even though I will say it is like just beautiful. It's in remote British Columbia.
Yeah.
It's, there was a meteor shower. The Perseid meteor shower was peaking when I was doing that race, and the sky was clear.
Yeah.
I was, the second night I was going to the bathroom. I would just look up the sky and see shooting stars all over. By the second, by 4 a.m. on the Sunday morning, I was hallucinating like crazy.
Yeah.
It just got worse and worse. The deja vu got worse. It was. I was like, I swear I've been on this trail before, but I'd never been there. I had conversations with people that weren't there.
On the note of all the fun that you're describing right now, the part that always cracks me up about the photos that these RDs put on the front of their websites, like if you go to Fatdog's website right now, the first photo is so much bullshit. Like the woman they have on there is uber clean. Like, come on. And then the second one, like this person's jumping a rock. It looks like if you hit the little air, like they're jumping a rock in a beautiful prairie. Like, what are we doing, man? Like, come on.
Yeah.
Show the miserable motherfucker that's hallucinating. It looks absolutely amazing.
And that one picture here at the finish line, that lake, the last half mile is on the other side of that lake, and you're running alongside the lake, and you can hear people at the finish line, and at a certain point you can see them over there. And it just seems like it takes forever, but it's like you can see them, hear them. You're like, come on.
When you were able to see them, like, because you only finished with 5 minutes left. When you were able to see them, did you know you're going to make it, or how were you still like, oh fuck? Where were you at?
When I first got to the lake, I'm like, this is going to be fucking close.
Yeah.
And once I got to the point where they could see me and they started cheering, I pretty much knew I had it at that point, unless I had a massive wipeout. But I was giving it all I had, so
yeah.
But yeah, no, at a certain point I was like, okay, I'm safe, but I still want to just get there.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's a small outfit that puts it on. It's not like this big corporatized race or anything like that.
Right.
They do a pretty good job. Those remote aid stations are a necessary evil.
Yeah.
There's not much they can do about that, but the people are awesome. Everybody there is awesome. The volunteers are great. It's just a good atmosphere. And no, I really liked it. I would like to actually go back and hike some of the sections of that race, especially that last 11-mile stretch with the 3,500 foot climb.
So that's an interesting course too. Like
so they say it's a point to point, and it used to be point to point, but now there's like a stem that you have to do
bump out
twice. And that stem takes forever when you're on your way back. I will say that. Like it just seems like it goes on and on and on. But on the way back, because it's dark, if you're slow like me. But anyways, no, it's a cool race, and it's a hard rock qualifier. So,
I mean, the 40-mile run has a total elevation gain of 8,800 feet.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's not even like the 40-milers like easy. You know what I mean? Like it's still gonna break off any 8,800 feet on 40 miles.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Well, when the 120-miler starts, you're blasted right into like a 5,000 foot climb, like right off the get.
I don't know why, but I love that. It's like, hey, thanks for coming. Bow! Right?
It's literally the biggest climb in the race. And then,
oh man, that's awesome.
Then the next biggest climb is like a 4,500 foot climb at mile. It's like between miles like 73 and 80. And you're trying, you're at all these remote aid stations, and then you're just trying to get to mile 80, which is where a nice stocked aid station is.
Yeah.
And you're just dead dragging ass. It's like, it's hot. It's, it's in the daytime on the next day. And you're just like, it just takes, that climb sucked the living soul out of me. But anyway.
Oh, dude, I'm on a Strava link, and I'm at 146 kilometer mark, right? And at the 146 kilometer, you do start a absolute MFer of a climb.
The last climb in the race.
Yeah, well, it's the last big boy climb, but you're starting at an elevation of 1,100 meters. You're starting at an elevation of 1,200 meters. Let's call it.
Yeah.
And that thing tops out at 2,200 meters. So yeah, that's a good one, boy.
Yeah, so you're at 39, 37, and where does it top out?
2,200 meters. Yeah.
Well, yeah. So anyway, 7,217.
Yeah.
So, but anyways, so you get to this aid station, and you have 11 miles to go, and you have a 3,500 foot climb, and it starts off with like this 1,500 foot climb up a switchback, like nice smooth forest road. And once you get up to the mountain area, like towards the mountain peak, then it's like levels off for a little bit. And then it's like, bam, you get like some more steep climbing. And just when you think you're done with it, you drop down a little bit, and bam, you got another climb. Like it does that several times. Like you'll run across this big meadow, and you're like, okay, the climbing is definitely done now. Nope, back up more. And then you're like, shit, there's only 4 miles and I'm still going. There's only 4 miles left and I'm still going up. Like how steep is this downhill?
Yeah.
And I knew at that point I was going to be so short on time. There was people just wasted, dude. They were sitting up on top of that mountain, just sitting on these rocks, and they were just. And I'm like, we got to go, and they're like, the climbing's not done yet. I'm like, who gives a shit? We're like running out of time here.
Oh man, that's
and
awesome.
Then I just threw myself down that mountain. I'm like, I'm gonna Sonic Hedgehog this mother effer. Like I was like 0 fucks to give, just jumping down that steep ass first part. And then you get into these switchbacks in the woods and they just go forever, man. You're like, oh, brutal.
How much single track is it?
It's quite a bit. I would say it's probably 75 to 80% single track.
Oh,
and then
really?
Then you have some like rocky fire road stuff, you know. And you do have some pavement too. You have like 4 miles of pavement at mile like 105. You have like 4 miles of pavement down into the area where the start finish is, because then you got to go out and do this other loop. So that's awesome. But anyway, it's a cool race. You know, I'm glad that I finished because I'm good with it.
Don't have to go back to that one again.
Yeah. I mean, I would maybe go volunteer or go hike there. You know, it's a cool atmosphere, but I don't know if I could put myself through that one again.
Really? Dang.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe I could. Maybe I could, but there's other races out there. There's other hard rock qualifiers out there. But let's move on to Bigfoot. So Bigfoot is one of Candace Burt's other races, other 200-mile races, I should say. One of her Triple Crown races, and something happened at Bigfoot this year. So wildfires were in the area, and they had to alter the course, and so they went off their tradition. And normally this is a point-to-point 200-miler in Washington. But this year they had to do an alternative route, and they went a double out and back from the normal finish line. A double out and back, right? So 50 out, 50 back, 50 out, 50 back. That's kind of brutal. Vernon Palm won the race in 44 hours and 57 minutes, which that's a hell of a time for Bigfoot, man.
It's because you're doing the out and back, right? Like it's not taking its collective toll on you.
Yeah, I don't know.
You know what I mean? Like
I don't know if the back 50 miles of that race is I don't know what the elevation gain is or the technicality. I know a lot of Bigfoot is very technical.
Yeah.
But I don't know anything about the last 50 miles, how that shakes out. So, but 44 hours and 57 minutes for any 200-mile mountain race is pretty fast. But you're right. There is some logistical things to consider. It's easier logistically if you're doing 50 chunks of 50 miles. And then Jessica Temple won for the women, 34 hours and 18 minutes. Or I'm sorry, 56 hours and 37 minutes. I was looking at the Fatdog results. So that was Bigfoot. And I want to talk about Swiss Alps.
Oh my God, dude!
This race looks cool as
hell. Insane.
Did you see some of the pictures? Like it runs next to a glacier and shit, like a big ass glacier.
Go to their website. Like go to the website and pull that up, and just let people watching on YouTube let them watch the website's opening video.
Yeah.
Just insane.
There's the glacier.
But what? Like I'm not sure if that's the best part. Like here comes the best part for me.
Nice bridge.
Multiple suspension bridges.
Yeah.
And like that. And quite frankly, look at that. Look at that.
Yeah. Dude, Switzerland.
Look at that, dude. What?
Wow. That is quite a suspension bridge.
Yeah.
That's a little freaky. That's like some Indiana Jones shit.
Imagine hitting that thing at 2 a.m. It's like, golly, days.
For real. So Switzerland is like I've been there. It's like a dream. It doesn't even seem real.
Yeah,
Like the scenery is so awesome. And Jeff Peltier, the trail running filmmaker from Canada, he did the race this year, and so definitely be on the lookout for his video from the race. It should be pretty epic. So yeah.
By the way, Hard Rock qualifier.
It is a Hard Rock qualifier.
So you and I can go knock this out together. We can take the wives can come with us. It can be a little like we'll make it like a week and a half thing. Stay in Switzerland the entire time.
Yeah, dude, I'm all for it. And there's a 50-hour cutoff. Even better.
Forever and a day. I mean, like forever. That's forever. I mean, I get it. It's Switzerland, right? So there might be a mountain. There might be a mountain or two.
Oh,
but still, 50 hours. That is crazy.
So
that's
I'm going
to
look up this conversion right now. But there's 10,150 meters of climbing.
So it's like 30,000. It's over 30. It's probably like 33,000 feet of climb, I'm guessing.
Dude, you're good at math. 33,300. So it's about Hard Rock. It's about the same as Hard Rock.
Yeah.
It's very technical. 16 aid stations, 50-hour cutoff, 3 suspension bridges, a large dam, many beautiful lakes, historic villages, and finisher antique brass belt buckle. So anyway, pretty cool race. And Stefano Rinaldi from Italy won in 25 hours and 52 minutes. And Julia Sagan from Italy won for the women in 28 hours and 41 minutes. Leah Yingling was over there and did the 50K, and she won the 50K for the women, 6 hours and 30 minutes. So that is Swiss Alps. Also, I want to give a shout out. There was a new first-time race in Michigan, Pine to Vine, 55K in Pinckney. Now, this race starts in Pinckney Rec area, which is where I used to do a lot of running when I lived in Michigan, and it goes through on the Potawatomi Trail for a while, and then it goes on that 30-mile trail that goes to Waterloo, and it finishes. I believe it said it finishes at like a private farm or something where they have this party.
Yeah, the vineyards.
Course ends on a beautiful dirt road that takes you to a Sandhill Crane Vineyards for backdoor beer and barbecue finish party. So that kind of sounds fun.
It's not bad, yeah.
It's put on by Running Fit. They're the group that puts on Run Woodstock, the running festival. So I just want to give a shout out.
You know what's kind of weird is I don't know if I've ever done a point-to-point.
No?
I can't think I've ever. It seems like it'd be kind of fun to do too. But I don't know that I've ever done a point-to-point. I think I've always just done looped races.
Well, when I did Burning River, that was point-to-point.
Yeah.
Not anymore, but you know. Fatdog is kind of point-to-point. There is some repeat.
I think I'm going to sign up for Strolling Gym again this year. Ooh. That'll be a point-to-point.
Get your road shoes ready.
Get them road shoes out.
All right, let's jump into some news here. I can't believe that an hour has gone by already.
Yeah.
So one of my favorite trail and ultra podcasts, Adventure Jogger, Ryan Pluckelman is the host of that. And he just announced in the last episode it was released, I think, Thursday, and I was listening to it on my run Thursday, and he announced that he's hanging it up. He's Ryan Pluckelman is leaving the Adventure Jogger. And I'm not completely finished with that episode yet. He didn't really say why. I think he's been, between his old podcast and this podcast, he's been at it for maybe like 6 7 years, probably over 7 years. So I don't know if he just needs a break. You know, it does take time, you know, doing show prep and all that, and finding guests. He had guests, you know, he did interviews, so that's an extra aspect to it. So, but anyways, sad to see Ryan go. It is being taken over though by someone, Stephen Kornhaus. This guy has a YouTube channel. He wanted to start a podcast, and he reached out to Ryan for some advice, and then Ryan decided to let him take over the Adventure Jogger. So he's going to start releasing episodes this week, I believe. So we'll see if he can carry the torch.
Yeah.
I'm sure he will. All right. So we talked about everybody that was doing these FKT runs, and Tara Dower is doing the FKT attempt on the Appalachian Trail. She's going north to south, and she started on Sunday, I think, either Sunday or Monday at 5:47 a.m. Let's see, one day ago, Tuesday, I think Monday morning at 5:47 a.m. She started, and so she's in Maine, and we do have tracking for Tara. And we can see here she is moving along. I don't really like this map per se, because you can't see oh yeah, there's the state lines. Looks like she's about halfway through Maine. So yeah, just started in the early stages, and their social media has been silent, but I know that she only has 2 people crewing for her, and I'm sure it's hard to keep up with all the duties of that, plus do social media posts. So, but we did get the phone number for the crew, and they said that we can text them for updates. So I will reach out for the next episode and see if we can get a little more stats on how she's doing, where she is compared to the course record. By the way, she is doing this for charity, folks, for this organization called Girls on the Run, and it helps address mental and physical health concerns and physical activity levels over the last decade. Girls are in decline in mental health and physical activity. Now they need, more than ever, they need to get the skills to build their confidence and develop meaningful relationships and discover the joy of movement. So Girls on the Run, great organization. There's a link to donate in the on the website for Tara's Girls on the Run FKT attempt. I will share that in the show notes. If anyone wants to donate, you can go there and check it out. And Mike Wardian, who's also running for charity, and he's not going for the FKT, but he is doing the Appalachian Trail for this group. What was there? Oh, Team World Vision.
Yeah, for the well.
That's right. And they've raised $6,358 on a goal of $294,000. So I'm going to share the link to that one again in the show notes if anybody wants to check that out and donate. Yeah, and we're not affiliated with these FKT attempts. You know, we're not telling you have to go donate or anything like that. But if you're interested, I'll share the links. And Mike
just made it out of Mike's in New Hampshire, almost done with New Hampshire, I think.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay, here it is. Day 13, 437.9 miles. That's 33 miles a day average. The White Mountains are killing pace. That's to be expected, I guess. Outside Hanover, New Hampshire, the long way to the mountain, to the top of the mountain is always longer, or the way to the top of the mountain is always longer than you think. Don't fool yourself. The moment will arrive when what seems so near is still very far. So true. White Mountains have been in New Hampshire have been slow for him. He's been working on his hiking. It has been humbling to be reduced to a few miles an hour each day, but finally got to run a few times the last few days, and it is magical. He loves being up and down mountains. Running feels so good. Hopes to get into Vermont tomorrow, or the locals say Vermud.
Vermud.
So
yeah, he's trucking.
Yeah, 33 miles a day is in through that country. Holy crap, that's pretty good. So yeah, he's doing good. I think we also mentioned that String Bean was going to attempt the John Muir Trail, and I didn't know when he was starting. I didn't think he had started, but it turns out in the last episode he had started. I think like that day, and he finished up. And with a post on Strava, it was very cryptic. Like, I swear I saw videos of him on Instagram doing the attempt, but then I couldn't find him. So I didn't know what was going on. But Joe made a post on Strava that said that he did not miss the record, but happy that he's okay. I guess he got lost a few times and added on a bunch of extra miles. I think he did 3 days and 3 hours or something. But he did miss the FKT record on the John Muir Trail. That's String Bean Joe McConaughey. And just as a reminder, Bronco Billy is, I don't know when he's starting, but at some point he's also doing the Colorado Trail FKT attempt.
So many.
I know. It must be the season for FKTs, right? Late summer. And he's doing that for the Warrior Trail Foundation, which is for military veterans. It's trail running as therapy, and Bronco Billy, Jeff Browning, he partnered with them. So for a really good cause. And I'll share the link to that one as well. And what else we got? Okay. I got one more story. It's kind of a funny story. Since the Olympic marathon just finished up over the weekend, let's talk about the 1904 Olympic marathon in St. Louis. There was only 40 runners, and two of them weren't even part of the Olympic team. They just decided to run for fun. Jan Machini got 12th, and Len Tayuane, it's going too fast. I can't see what place he is. But Len would have been done if it wasn't for these dogs that chased him. This mailman lost all his money traveling in a riverboat casino, and he got 4th. I don't know. He just decided to run, I guess. And let's see. Okay, here we go. He ran the race in dress shoes and turned his trousers into shorts. He would have won if he didn't stop to eat a rotten apple.
Crazy.
And had to take a nap for an hour to recover. He was helped across the finish line by trainers who refused to give him water. They gave him instead a mixture of rat poison and brandy. Doping wasn't illegal yet. And the guy that got first got disqualified because he did most of the race in a car.
What in the world? So weird.
Yeah, it's just crazy shit, man. Oh, Russian runners arrived 2 weeks late because they were still using the Julian calendar. They didn't even make it. So anyway, just thought that was kind of funny. Yeah. So that's about all I got. I'm surprised we got through it, man. Because the first bad. 2 or 3 things, I'm like, dang, we're an hour in already.
There was a ton of stuff. Yeah, once it started rolling, that was a lot. So
But all right.
There's a fresh post out too. I kind of got caught up. There's a fresh post from String Bean. He posted about 8 hours ago.
Oh.
Kind of talking about what went wrong. He got to Mount Whitney, was feeling pretty good, was feeling pretty lucid, he said. And he said he started to climb up, started the ascent, and stopped and took a nap. And he said that's kind of went off the rails. He kind of woke up like confused and disoriented, and kind of not feeling great. So,
he said he had a really rough time around the Mount Whitney area.
Yeah.
Did he get lost there? When he woke up from his nap, did he go the wrong way like somebody did during Cocodona?
Man, I closed out on that. I have to go back and try to find it.
It's not. I don't even think it's under his normal Instagram account.
Yeah,
it was under some other account, but yeah, no, that makes sense. He had a really tough time around Mount Whitney.
Yeah.
He's set FKTs. He had the FKT on the Appalachian Trail for a while. He's set several FKTs. I think he had it on the Arizona Trail. He had to go through snow and shit. He's an FKT machine.
This is actually kind of crazy. I just found the post again. I had started to climb up to Mount Whitney, lucid and excited that I had more than enough time for the FKT. I started to slow down, took a nap, and then things went sideways. I had multiple voices telling me to go off the trail and take the high route or low route. I listened to them, and without a second thought, I remember everything, but I don't know why I did what I did. This was my first experience with serious hallucinations. It wasn't good, but I came out of it, realized I wasn't dreaming, and that things were, in fact, very, very real, and hiked back down to safety.
Wow.
That is crazy.
The hallucinations are no joke, man, when you're tired. In Fatdog, they were bad for me. Like, I never experienced it like that.
He kind of makes a comment. He's like, I'll be curious how this experience affects or shapes my efforts going forward. For now, I'm happy to be safe and feel like I've learned more about myself. A crazy proposition, having started running FKTs 10 years ago when I ran the PCT FKT. So, like, he's talking about it spooked him bad enough that, like, he's like, maybe.
That's hard to believe that that's the first time he hallucinated like that. Like,
I feel like it's his first time he's hallucinated that bad. He said, like, it sounds like it rattled him pretty good.
So it's a much different situation for him hallucinating out there than doing it in a race, right? Because there's nobody out there that's going to come to the rescue or anything like that, That's it's much more dangerous at that level when you're out there on your own.
For sure. All right, good sir. Good episode again.
Well, thanks everyone for listening, tuning in. We appreciate you. Leave us a review on the podcast or send us an email or hit us up on the social media. All the links to our social media pages are in the show notes for the podcast and on the YouTube channel. So hit us up. We'd like to make some friends and try to maybe bridge the community of anybody that's actually listening to the podcast. So, but yeah, no, I hope everyone has a good long run this weekend, and we'll catch you on the next one.
All right. See everybody later. Thanks, everybody.